For the which cause I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed, and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. Hallelujah. Knowledge is powerful, such that many schools have their motto as knowledge is power. Many times in life, what you know and who you know is the difference between life and death. Paul had gone through a lot of unpleasant things. He said, I suffer, but I am not ashamed. Why would he not be ashamed? Why would he suffer and continue to suffer? Knowledge. The knowledge of whom he has believed was the reason for him to say, I am not ashamed. In other words, he was saying, because I know and I am acquainted with whom I have believed, I am not ashamed, for the one I have believed, who I know has incomparable credentials. He can turn shame to glory. He can turn ignominy to honor. There is no limit to what he can do. You can't bind or cage him. He is unstoppable. He is unbeatable. He is a master in the game of life. He specializes in making impossibilities possible. He is the one that makes ways where there is no way. He makes the barren a joyful mother of children. He takes the nobodies of life from the dunghill and sets them on the pedestals of life. I know him. He is the God, according to my dear pastor, that humiliates the fires of life. I know him. The God that does exceeding abundantly above what I can ask, think, or imagine. Mountains melt like wax before him. The hills skip like rams at his presence. The trees clap their hands in awe of him. He is God and he is second to none. No good would he withhold from his own. I know him. I know him. That was what Paul was saying. And that knowledge kept him. He did not budge at the suffering. Someone may ask, where can I find him that I may know him too? He dwells in the pages of his word. When you find his word, you found him. When you know his word, you know him. Oh, I have not seen him physically with my eyes, but I know him from his word. I see him on every page. The more I look into his word, the more I know him. He did not need Julius Berger to help him construct a highway in the waters of life. He did not need a gynecologist to make the woman with the issue of blood whole. He did not consult oceanographers to give Peter 3 years of daily fishing in one catch. He is the God that amplified the steps of 4 leprous men and used them to stem the tide of national calamity. I know him. How he did it, I don't know. But 4 leprous men turned to flight a whole army of generals and commanders. 4 leprous men. I know him. I know him. I know him. With this God that I know, you will not see clouds. You will not see rain. But the ditches will be filled with water. He is able to keep that which is committed against unto him. Against all odds. I say to someone here, you will sing that song. You will sing that song. Against all odds, the unusual will break out upon you. Against all odds, Nigeria will rise again. Nigeria will shine in America. Nigeria will lead in Africa. Nigeria will thrive. Not because of any technocrats, but because of this one that we know, that we have believed. He's the one that said, fear not, O land. The enemy is vanquished. His works overturned. His deeds are broken. And his voice is silenced forever. I know whom I have believed. It is from the standpoint of this knowledge that I am persuaded that I will never be stranded in life. I will never be stranded in life. I am persuaded that there shall be workings of miracles. I am persuaded that God will beyond my imagination and exceed my expectation. I am persuaded that wealth and riches are in my house. It doesn't matter what you see. I am persuaded that honor and glory are upon me. I am persuaded that I will see better days. I am persuaded that he is able to keep me. I know he does not really need a menstrual cycle to make a woman a mother. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He does not need a fat bank account to make you a millionaire. He does not need the best doctors to make you whole. It does not matter what you're going through. I know whom I've believed. I know him. I know him. Let the clock of time be ticking, but I know him. He is the one that shows up as the fourth man in the fire. I know him as the one who shows up when it is hottest. So go on and hit the furnace. Go on and hit the furnace. I know him. He will show up. He will show up. He will show up. He will show up when it is hottest. I know him. I know him. I know him. I know him. Let the deadlines be coming closer. I know him. I know him. I know him. I know whom I've believed. And I am persuaded that he is able. His ability is not in question, and not at all. I know him. I know him.